YouTube, back with another video of a breakdown of the trade I took yesterday. I actually lost the trade. I'm not gonna lie to you. The first loss I took, not mad at it. It was one of them things where it would have been a great point for a reversal. It was just one of them days where it just didn't play out, bro. And no strategy is 100%. It's gonna be days where you just take those statistical losses and then you just gotta take note of that and move on. I wouldn't necessarily change the way I looked at that output. I don't think my analysis on the actual trade was wrong, but I did take a second trade and I failed to account for something. And we're going to get into all that in just a moment. So, coming into Market Friday, what I noticed was that we swept these previous lows, which was a high resistance low, which we did the previous day. And we were still pushing down. Like, we didn't have a strong reaction to the upside off of this candle. I also wanted to take note of the fib level that we were in. We weren't in any OTE zones. Look at the weekly chart. We're still moving down. So overall, it was a bearish sentiment. Only thing that kind of changed my opinion about it was the fact that we had this resistance right here. I didn't know how price was really going to react at this level, especially because if you look at the daily FVG, it still was at that equilibrium point where it bounced off before. I didn't know if this was going to be a situation where it was just like a liquidity grab and then price reverses, or we're going to keep continuing down. So coming into the market and seeing this, I didn't have a clear understanding of where we were going, but on market open, it gave us price action that showed where we were going. Like, as you can see right here, we had a 5-minute gap. Price ended up tapping this gap and then falling. So tap this gap, fell at market open, as you can see on the 1-minute chart. Continue to fall, knocking out all this low resistance liquidity right here. And then at this point, we're pushing towards these lows over here, or at least to Asia open. So I knew that since we were knocking out all this liquidity, we were probably going to take out these Asia lows at one point. I wasn't sure whether we were going to come to previous day low and reverse, or we were going to reverse once we got to this level, especially because at one point we started forming an SMT. Hold on, let's see, where did the SMT form? It happened a little bit later in these candles, but let's open up the 1 minute. Before we get to the 1 minute, something else I did take note of when I was in the trade, just in case we did reverse, was the OTE levels. I wanted to see how price reacted off of these OTE levels when the price was falling. Like, if we could get a strong reaction off of one of these levels, then we could see a continuation to the upside, especially since this is a area of liquidity where price is less reluctant to tap it because it had a strong move in the past, and we've literally been dumping like shit. Like, if you look at it from right here to right here, we're 1,000 points down. If you look at it from where it started, this leg over here is down 400. Even if you look at it for the day that we were in, we were down 200 points at this point, and we had no pullbacks at all. Like, throughout these whole candles, you see, it was only this one green candle in the 5 minute, but yet we dumped fucking 150 points just from that fair value gap alone at New York Open. So I figured we were going to end up getting a pullback at some point. I was just trying to get the pullback, target a area liquidity that we form, and then continue to the upside. But as price keeps going down, we see price reacts off market close, start consolidating right here, boom, boom, keeps going down, boom, 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 takes out Asia lows. We still continue dropping. We come to 786. We get this little tap. Price starts to bounce up just a little bit, and then starts continuing up a little more. Let's see. Let's go to 1 minute right here. So we start consolidating at this level just a little bit. All right. And at this point, we're at the 786 level. We form an SMT right here. Price breaks this low. Doesn't break it on this end. Boom. as you can see, the divergence between the two pairs, and then it starts reacting off this level and bouncing up. So by the time I see this, I think it's a reversal. We formed this SMT. We're at the 786 level. We just had displacement off of this candle where the SMT was at. And I take an entry right here. I set my stop loss below these protected lows right here. And then my target for this trade was the nearest fair value gap, which was right here. I wasn't going for a crazy target. I literally just wanted a scalping play. And right here was a good point just because this was the next draw liquidity. So you target this right here. Hold on. Where's my exact stop loss? Let me go back. I think my exact entry was a little bit further than that. Yeah, my exact entry was literally a 101. So once price tapped into this point right here, I was already in the trade. Targeting it to this fair value gap, stop loss right below here at this protected low. And then I expect the price to reverse right here. What happened was price ended up bouncing off this New York AM open, but it was also bouncing off this daily open and midday right here, and it just continued to fall and wake me out. I think it was a good trade. I had good confluences that align with that, especially since, like I said, we had no pullback at this point. Dumped 266 points with no pullback, which is kind of crazy, but yeah. So at this point, I'm still waiting for another setup if we could see one. My thought process at this point was, okay, we're pretty close to PM lows. I mean, previous day lows. So there's probably a high chance we're going to take out this liquidity, especially since we already took out Asia lows. We took out, where is London lows? London lows. So I'm like, okay, this is our last draw liquidities for sellers. So it's probably a high chance that we could take out this level. But what happened right here was what caused everything to stall at this point. Like, hold on, where's my entry? I got in a trade, I believe, in this area over here. All right, so yeah, I had marked out this leg. I seen it tap off a 786 10 a.m. open, previous day close. So I'm like, all right, this is probably a good point to get an entry. We already see the reaction of the 786 level. So I put my stop right over here. I get an entry on this candle once I see that reaction. My target was these previous day lows. My stop was at this point right here, and I thought it was gonna be a good 1 to 3 trade. What I failed to account for was the fact that we had this SMT right here, and this is really what caused the whole thing to flip. After this, the market just started going up after dropping just a little bit, and ultimately it wicked me out. I believe if we didn't have this SMT, it probably would have been a better setup, a higher probability setup. But the fact that SMT was there, we've been dumping a lot, and still never had that pullback. And this is a high resistance liquidity down here at this point where it previously bounced off of. It was just a lower probability setup. So on that second trade, I did get break even though, because while I was in the trade, as you seen it start dropping, I did set my stop loss a little bit lower. Let me show you exactly where I have my break even point. So by the time we broke past this level the second time, I had moved my stop loss to break even, and then at this point it was risk off. So once it came back with me out, I was already out of there. That's ultimately what my trading day was like. The lesson I learned from this trading day was I just gotta account for these SMTs and see how price reacts off of them, because that would have been a sign of a reversal, and my negligence towards it was literally the thing that almost cooked me on that trade. But I mean, it's all a learning experience. That's just building discretion in the market, seeing how price moves in different market conditions, and overall, yeah, it's just one of the things where time's gonna help me. But I'm improving in the setups I'm taking. Uh, Even though this setup over here probably wasn't the craziest setup, the setup over here I believe was pretty good. And overall, I'm seeing improvement in my trading. So today was like a slight loss. I want to say I probably gave back all the profits from the last trade that I did win, but it's okay because my account's still roughly at break even, like probably around 50K. So it's not like a big loss on that account. And also, when I was in the call, my mentor, he did give me a Lucid daily for winning the giveaway. So I do have an extra eval account. So even if I do blow this account, I do have another one on the back end, and I'll be alright. So this is really like a marathon. It's a process. I'm just now learning the ICT is a whole new introduction and another realm of trading for me. And overall, man, it's gonna all pay off in the end. But it's just one of them things where it's just gonna take some time. I ain't rushing the process. I know I'm gonna get there eventually. But they gonna have to stay down, take some losses, take trades like this where you just gotta fill out the market and see areas you got improving and then constantly just improving that aspect. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm focusing on coming into these next couple days. Just focusing on aligning myself with the market. A lot of trades I took this week were like reversal kind of trades, and those were the trades where it has been a little bit worse for me, but it's all right. I'm learning, and man, like I said, time gonna tell, bro. But if y'all enjoyed this video, go ahead like the video. If y'all want to see more, subscribe to the channel, be a part of the journey because they gonna get that mail eventually. So it's like either you with me or you saying hey boy saying, bro. But I'm gonna catch up with y'all in the next video. No cap.